Nikola Motor stock is crashing. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. Merch coming very soon, and today we're actually making a standalone video on Nikola, something I've never done before. Now, if you have watched the channel before, you know that I absolutely love electric vehicles, okay? I recently bought Tesla at literally all-time highs, $1,700 a share. I'm also in Workhorse. I have something like 37 shares in there, and I do potentially plan on picking up even more. I can see cases for the large majority of EV companies, even the smaller ones, especially the likes of NIO, etc, even if I'm not involved in them. Nikola, from the start, has been a company that I don't understand whatsoever. I don't understand why so many people got on this hype train. I don't understand why so many people are still holding shares. I do understand why it's starting to dump. So today we're going to be speaking about an awful lot of things in regards to Nikola. We'll speak about the fact they have zero products. We'll speak about Trevor Milton. We'll speak about the pre-orders and the lack of information regarding the pre-orders. We'll speak about the up-and-coming stock dilution through issuing of new shares. And we'll go through a bit of their amended S1 form. And I can't even say this with a straight face, but at the end of the video, we'll speak about whether or not I'll consider buying them and at what price point. So I won't waste any of your guys' precious time, but first of all, can I please ask you to drop a like on this video? It really does help me out. If you're new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. Join the family. We're growing faster and faster every week. I appreciate every one of you so much. And lastly, please do drop me a comment down below after you've watched this video. You know, let me know your thoughts on Nikola. Maybe you are an investor, maybe you're like me and you're staying far away. But anyway, guys, let's get straight into the video. So let's start things off just by having a look at the stock chart, because you're all more than likely aware of what happened yesterday. This 21.27% dip, and that was a very fast, very aggressive drop, and that altogether took $10.39 off of value from Nikola Motors. Now, pre-market, as of recording this, they're at 7.67% in the green, which equates to $2.95 worth of actual dollar per share. Remember, if a stock's price comes down 20%, it'll need to go back up about 25% to reach those previous levels. Say, for example, a stock is $10. If that goes down 20%, it goes down to $8. If it went up 20%, it would only be back up to $9.60. So keep that in mind. But anyway, that's a very small time frame. If we go to the monthly, what's happened? Oh, the monthly looks even worse. Down 45% from exactly a month ago. And on the 6-month chart, okay, this stock was pumped. This was pumped to the heavens, up over 500%, okay? And since then, it's just been downwards. You know, there was a little bit of sideways, nothing too crazy. But I mean, come on. Down over 50% from the highs. And now the thing is, the people who got into Nikola really early and made 500+%, they haven't made nearly that much right now. And what's even more important to keep in mind is that most people were getting in around here or even up here at the highs. So a lot of people who are invested in Nikola right now are actually barely up or down in value. To me, this company made 0 sense from the start. I mean, it was the definition of hype. It looked like a pump and dump from day one, people. I remember hearing about this company and looking into it and trying to figure out a little bit about the company. And the first thing you realize is that they have no physical products now, and they more than likely won't do for a couple of years. Some stage in 2021 at the absolute earliest. Now, speaking about physical products, okay, as of right now, the Nikola Badger, this pickup truck here, is available to be pre-ordered as of right now. So pre-orders actually did open up June 29th, so a few weeks ago. And we haven't heard any information in regards to the kind of numbers that have been taken in. And why this would worry me if I was a Nikola investor is because of Trevor Milton and his tendency to brag at literally any given moment. He would brag about anything that he possibly could. If you go onto his Twitter, he is tweeting a few tweets literally every single day, and most of it's just saying how good he is and how good Nikola is, even though they have 0 physical products. You may remember this tweet from June 9th, okay? I've wanted to say this my whole adult life. Nikola is now worth more than Ford and FCA. That tweet did not age very well. Nikola market cap 13.88, Ford market cap 26.49. Oh, you love to see it, people. You love to see it. But I mean, there wasn't even any need for this tweet, you know? He loves to brag, okay? He really does. He loves to make himself look as good as possible. I don't like the vibes from this man, okay? He just seems like a sleazy salesman and an Elon Musk wannabe. That is the vibes I get from this man reading through his Twitter. I've also watched an interview or two regarding them, and I've listened to a podcast or parts of a podcast, and I don't really like the way he comes off. Now, he does seem to be getting a little bit better in all honesty, but I still just in general don't like him, okay? But getting back on point, we have heard nothing about the pre-orders. As soon as Nikola's market cap went above Ford's, he put a tweet up about it. All I am saying is that if I was a man who was known for bragging, if I was a man who likes to show off, and my pre-orders went well, I would be plastering that all over every social media, all over every interview. I would be plastering it everywhere. And we have heard absolutely nothing, which would lead me to believe that, pre-orders either didn't go as well as planned or just weren't anything particularly special. I mean, this car hasn't even been shown off in public yet, people. It is to be shown off December 3rd to 5th, 2020 in Phoenix, Arizona. That is where they'll be showing it for the first time, essentially. Now look, obviously this is speculation. If I was a bull on Nikola, I'd be saying maybe he just doesn't want to show the world the pre-orders yet. But judging by the kind of character he seems to be, I don't personally think that's the case. One other possible reason for at least part of this sell-off, okay, was Nikola plummeted 21% after the company files to sell 24 million, is actually 23.9 million shares. So they're diluting their shares. That's something that a current shareholder does not want to see, because it essentially makes their stock worth less. So a lot of people could have seen this and decided, you know what, I'm going to get out with whatever money I've made. I actually realize this isn't a very good company, not yet at least. I'm going to get out with some profits and I'll leave it there for the time being. Maybe I'll revisit back in December when we actually see some physical products and we see how the pre-orders we went. We see if there's any demand. Again, this is all just a thesis. Additionally, existing shareholders are looking to sell up to 53.4 million shares according to the prospectus. And Nikola has essentially just said that the proceeds from the sale would be used for general corporate purposes. So we've no idea why they're actually issuing these new shares. So these shares will be derived from the exercise of a mix of public and private warrants. Additionally, existing stakeholders could sell up to 53.4 million shares, though Nikola would not receive proceeds, obviously. The prospectus said shareholders that filed to sell stock included BlackRock, Fidelity and ValueAct. These two in particular you're all probably very aware at, ValueAct as well. So the thing about this is, anybody could have seen this coming, okay? It shouldn't be a surprise to investors who were aware that the company doesn't expect to generate revenue until 2021. And honestly, from what I am seeing, I don't even see that happening in 2021. Now, I could be completely wrong, but the signs don't point to it. So the increased dilution will bring Nikola's outstanding share count to 384.8 million from 360.9 million. Now look, this was the first EV company that got all of the hype behind it. If you've been up to date with the market, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have, everybody will remember when Nikola came out. They were the first company to do a reverse merger with a SPAC, who was Vecto IQ at the time, and since then we've seen other companies like Helion, for example, come through and do that. But Nikola just got hyped in an absolutely insane way, people. I mean, it was truly crazy. I still think that it is incredibly overvalued, and I mean incredibly overvalued. A market cap of 13.88 billion with literally zero revenue, zero products. It makes no sense, people. There are alternatives out there that are so much cheaper, that have been around for years and years, that have similar prospects going forwards. So just a few points from their amended S1. So look, I don't want to spend hours going through an S1 of a company I have absolutely zero interest in investing in, so we'll just go through some of the points from the summary. The key differentiator of our business model is our planned network of hydrogen fueling stations. That to me is a terrible unique selling point. There's already so many BEVs out there that are ready to go, with literal thousands of charging stations all across America and all across the world. Why would a company with no revenue create a product that needs a completely new charging infrastructure across the whole of the US and ultimately Europe and then the world? That takes a long time to do. It costs a lot of money. To me, this is a bad point, and it's one of their unique selling points. You can say hydrogen's the future or whatever, but no, I don't agree with it. It literally says it. We are an early stage company with a history of losses and expect to incur significant expenses and continuing losses for the foreseeable future. Now look, I can't hold that against them. That's how all of these companies start off. I mean, you look at Tesla, for example, they've been making losses for a very long time. And look, I hope I'm wrong. Like, I really do. I hope Nikola becomes a massive company. I would be very happy for it. It's only going to help the world, but I just don't see it happening from an investor's point of view. I wouldn't be comfortable putting my money into this company. We expect the rate at which we will incur losses to be significantly high in future periods as we design, develop and manufacture our trucks, construct and equip our planned manufacturing plant to produce our trucks in Arizona, modify and equip the Iveco manufacturing plant in Germany to produce our trucks in Europe, build up inventories of parts and components for our trucks. Now I'm just saying, remember, these guys expect revenue by 2021. There is still so much work to be done before they can, effectively make these vehicles at least a large scale. Manufacture an available inventory of our trucks, develop and deploy our hydrogen fueling stations. This one here is one that really worries me. I don't see how you could possibly possibly have that done by 2021, and without that, your products are essentially useless. The funds needed to create the charging stations to keep the big rigs rolling will cost an additional $15 billion by Milton's estimates. This company's valuation as of today is at $13.88 billion. Is it just me who doesn't think the numbers add up very well? He said it won't require us to go out and raise $15 billion. We'll do it through our contracts, Milton told Automotive News. We can pay for them with very little debt. You know, in an ideal world, I understand, but what if it's not an ideal world? And if this is the plan, and there is a potential lack of pre-orders, judging by the fact that he hasn't bragged about them yet, that could mean a very bad thing for these charging stations, which again could push back, you know, when they're going to make revenue even further. Expand our design, development, maintenance and repair capabilities, increase our sales and marketing activities and develop our distribution infrastructure, and increase our general and administrative functions to support our growing operations. We may be unable to adequately control the costs associated with our operations. And again, this is one of the big things. This is what, in my eyes, everything leads back to. Like, it's a money thing. Obviously, if you have literal infinite money, yeah, go ahead. At the end of last year, Trevor Milton dropped $32.5 million on a 2,000-acre Utah ranch. Your company literally doesn't have enough money to do what the company needs to do to be successful, and you're spending $32.5 million on a 2,000-acre ranch, man. It doesn't seem like good business to me. Our business model has yet to be tested, and any failure to commercialize our strategic plans would have an adverse effect on our operating results and business, harm our reputation, and could result in substantial liabilities that exceed our resources. Yes, our limited operating history makes evaluating our business and future prospects difficult and may increase the risk of your investment. That's understandable. Nothing needs to be held against them there. That's the way EV companies are right now. We can't value any EV company really the same way we can traditionally value other companies using, you know, our PEs, intrinsic value, things like that. So I won't hold this one against them. We expect to need to raise additional funds, and these funds may not be available to us when we need them. If we cannot raise additional funds when we need them, our operational prospects could be negatively affected. And if they keep on issuing new shares as a means of raising additional funds, it's going to ultimately make your share price worth less and less as time goes on. If we fail to manage our future growth effectively, we may not be able to market and sell our vehicles successfully, of course. This is why to me I keep coming back to the pre-orders, because it is actually quite a big deal. If you don't have a good launch, it's not a good sign for your future prospects. Our success will depend on our ability to economically manufacture our trucks at scale and build our hydrogen fueling stations to meet our customers' business needs, and our ability to develop and manufacture trucks of sufficient quality and appeal to customers on schedule and at scale is unproven. So much risk for a company that doesn't even have products yet. Why not take a risk on a company who has prospects much sooner than Nikola does, who has physical products? I'm all for taking a risk, I really am, but the risk needs to be justified by a potential reward that makes sense. You cannot even put an estimate on the potential reward with Nikola. You can't even put a time frame on it if you could. We may experience significant delays in pretty much everything. Of course, that's what I think will happen, and that's why I don't think that they will make any money in 2021. We may not be able to produce or source the hydrogen needed to establish our planned hydrogen fueling stations. That would be a little bit of a spanner in the works. Our inability to cost effectively source the energy requirements to conduct electrolysis at our fueling stations may impact the profitability of our bundle leases. The list literally goes on and on. I'm going to leave it there, but there's a lot. The thing is, to me guys, Nikola was priced to perfection for the next year or so up around these levels already without anything happening. Right now, I still think they are very overvalued. That's just me, and it's just because of what I see happening in the next year or so. I wouldn't even see them as worth taking a gamble on at this share price. I just see many better opportunities out there. Now look, I'm not saying that in 10 years Nikola couldn't be a multi-$100 company. It very well could be if best case scenario happens and for some reason hydrogen takes over the world. But we have to weigh up the risks and the rewards. Do I plan on buying any of Nikola's share? I think I've made it quite evident that no, I don't. I don't think I will ever pick up any Nikola share. Literally, I don't see why I would. There is nothing appealing about this company that I can't find in other safer companies. Now don't get me wrong, as with any company, there is always a bear and a bull thesis, so please, there's no need to attack me in the comment section. I did literally just say it wouldn't surprise me if these were worth multiple hundreds of dollars in 10 years. It can always happen. There is always a bull thesis and a bear thesis. But me personally, I am a bear on Nikola big time. So I won't be buying any Nikola shares. So there are my thoughts and opinions on Nikola, because I have been getting asked about them quite a bit lately, because I am a big bull on EV. I speak about, you know, Tesla, Workhorse an awful lot on the channel, and I don't really give Nikola the time of day. And that is why I don't really want to put a lot of time into a company that I don't believe in. But here is a video to reference back to in the future, and we'll see if I was right or wrong. Could go either way. Either way though, guys, I do really hope that you were able to take something away from this video, regardless of whether you are a bull or a bear on Nikola. And ultimately, I do hope that you enjoyed the video. You know, that's why we make these for. If you watched till the end, I really do appreciate you. You, my friend, are a true legend. Could I please ask you, if you haven't yet, to smash that like button and drop me a comment down below? Those two things help me out so much. And with that being said, guys, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for the next video. Peace.